Hey, what's up? This is Kevin from Kevin's BBQ Joints, and in this episode, I get a chance to talk to Patrick Feges from Feges BBQ in Houston, Texas. His new barbecue joint is in Greenway Plaza. You've got to check it out. We talk about his background. We get briefly into the fact that he was in the military, and after listening to a different podcast, Tales from the Pits, which is something you definitely should check out. It is a fantastic Texas barbecue podcast. He talks in detail about his military experience and his injuries, and it's an incredible story. So I think after you watch this, you should check that out. It's definitely worth a listening, and it'll move you for sure. But we talk about his culinary background. We talk about his working at Killen's, at Brennan's, at Underbelly, and then getting his own place. And we talk about his wife and the different things that she's done. She's worked at amazing restaurants, per se, Babo, and comes with a great culinary background that they merge. You're gonna love this. It's such an interesting thing. Oh, also she was on Chopped, and that's an interesting story. But enjoy this. Good morning, Patrick. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. What's your day look like today?
I get to fire up my smoker for the first time today.
Oh, really? Tell me about that.
So we're about maybe 2 weeks out from opening the restaurant.
Awesome.
Our friends and family is in just over a week.
Nice.
And it's just getting everything ready. The smoker is it's a JNR oiler.
Okay.
And it's in the kitchen under a hood vent. So a lot of stuff had to happen before I can get that thing fired up. And today's the day.
Oh, awesome. That's really cool. What's the capacity?
It's the 700.
Okay.
So I can fit maybe 60 briskets on there.
Okay.
I don't think I'll be cooking that much for a while at least.
Have you cooked on an oiler before?
Yeah. I worked for Ronnie Killen.
Oh, okay.
Killen's Barbecue the first year we were open. And so we had the big one, the 1300.
Gotcha.
So we cooked the overnight cook was on that. The ribs and stuff was on the on a Lang, and then later on a close.
Oh, okay. Those JNRs are so consistent, and the quality is amazing.
They're great. They're great. My wife probably loves it more than I do because it means I'm not up all night throwing wood into a firebox.
Then let's cut back to your history a little bit, because I'm curious as to how you got your start, and then reading online different things. Your wife has a pretty amazing background in the culinary world as well.
Yeah, she's pretty talented.
I'm sure she's a great person.
Yeah, I think I'll keep her around for a while.
Or vice versa, she'll keep you around.
Yeah, hopefully she keeps me around.
Definitely. So what's have you always been into barbecue? Did you grow up in Austin?
No, I grew up in Houston. Well,
Okay.
Sugarland, a suburb of Houston.
Okay. For some reason I thought you were more up north. Okay, gotcha. But I know you're now in Houston.
Yeah. Houston my whole life. I mean, we eat barbecue. We're in Texas, right? We eat barbecue. My family never really, grilling chicken was about as far as we went with barbecuing.
Okay.
But it was always something I enjoyed, always my favorite meal. And then I really got into it. I moved to Austin for a while to go to culinary school, and that's when I really got into it.
But before then, were you what industry were you thinking about going into the culinary world at all?
Well, it sort of was. My mom, when I was my junior year, my mom was kind of pushing me towards culinary school just because she'll be the first one to admit she can't cook. So if I wanted to eat something good, I was cooking it myself, and I just kind of had a knack for it, I guess. And then, but I decided to join the Army instead.
Yeah. You were in Iraq, right?
Yeah. So I was part of the second rotation of Iraq.
Okay. So,
I had signed up in the delayed entry program before we even invaded Iraq.
Okay.
So, that was just always something that kind of fascinated me, was the military.
Mm-hmm. And thank you so much for your service. That's seriously, that's incredible. And I'm sure you experience a lot there. So
yeah. And I wanted to make a career out of it, but circumstances, I was injured and medically discharged while I was in Iraq. So I had to figure out a new career, and it was either I was thinking about teaching or cooking, and cooking won.
Yeah, well, thank you. We're glad for that.
Yeah.
So, at that time, were you thinking about opening a restaurant, or so then you went and started working at restaurants, right?
Yeah. So I went to culinary school. I really hadn't worked in a restaurant before culinary school, which to this day I'll tell people don't do that. Get a year experience before you go to culinary school.
I think that's great
Or
advice. A lot of my friends have done that too, and it's I think
yeah,
hands on and that being in that world is important.
yeah. And then after a year, you might realize you don't even need to go to school, and then you save yourself, $40,000.
Exactly. Yeah, and also the fact that you might not like it. It's a tough business.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of people wash out.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not all just like hanging out in the Food Network, like doing fun stuff.
yeah, I mean, I've been lucky in my career and been involved in some really cool stuff,
Hmm.
but I've also had to work my ass off. So
Yes.
it's
No.
it's it's give and take. It's not for the faint of heart
Yeah.
for sure.
Without a doubt. What was the
Yeah.
first restaurant you worked at?
Um, while I was in culinary school in Austin, I got a job at Bennigan's,
Okay.
right down the street from my apartment.
Oh, that's funny.
And
They don't have any Bennigan's out here anymore.
no, they closed like 6 months after I left. But the funny thing is that stood out on my resume when I applied for Brennan's of Houston,
Okay.
which is like it's been open for 50 years. It's
Oh,
an
yeah.
institution. And the sous chef had worked at Bennigan's. And he goes, I get yeah, it's not fancy food, but you have to be quick to survive in that kitchen. So that's
Oh, that's
what
interesting.
stood out on my resume.
So
He
it's
didn't
not
care
such a
what
bad
culinary school I went to. He cared that I worked at Bennigan's.
Oh, that's too funny. I thought you're using that environment. Wow, that
Right?
fast-paced
Yeah.
environment. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, while I was in Austin in culinary school, eating around barbecue joints. This was, 2006, before Franklin was around, before the whole revival. But you saw like Cooper's and Lano, the restaurants in Lockhart and Luling.
All
And,
the classic places, the places that
yeah,
have been around forever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Black's has always been great. That's
Yeah.
always been one of my favorite places.
Oh, yeah. Super consistent, too. Way consistent, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then we did a cook-off at the school for a charity, and it just kind of it just hit. And I remember one of the projects in school was I wrote a menu for this barbecue restaurant I want to open up.
Oh, wow.
And so I kind of decided back then that I eventually want to do barbecue, but I had other goals for my career as well. Work at certain levels of restaurants and kind of earn this degree I just got. And I did the fine dining thing, and I'll never do fine dining ever again. It's just way too stressful.
No, it's definitely. I have a friend that worked in fine dining, and I think he got yelled at like every single day that he worked there. It was
Yeah, well, it wasn't that bad for me. It's just intricate plates.
yeah, no, that's very specific. Yeah,
yeah. I've loved every chef I've worked for, so even if I did get yelled at, I probably deserved it. So I'll take it.
Yeah, no, there's like 20 really bad chefs in the United States.
Yeah, right.
Really do care about what they do, and they get passionate about what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So from when did you start? Were you starting to do a little bit on the weekends? Did you get an offset smoker yourself?
Yeah,
small
so
and build one.
I guess to go back a little bit, when I was getting medically discharged from the Army, I was stationed in San Antonio.
Okay.
And the way it kind of works in the Army, when you're stationed somewhere and you're leaving, you kind of just either give your stuff away or sell it for really cheap. Okay. That way you just don't have to take it with you to the next space. And then when you get to the next place, you just buy stuff cheap from someone who's leaving.
Okay.
It was like that when I was in Korea. I bought a really nice stereo for $50 when I got to Korea. But so we had a guy that was leaving, and he offered me this Brinkman vertical smoker.
Okay.
That was damn near rusted out. And he's like, someone gave it to me. If you want it, it's yours. If not, I'm just going to leave it on the curb. And I'm from Houston, so every weekend I was coming back to Houston from San Antonio. Yeah. So I'm like, I grabbed it, took it back to my mom's house. And then, so I started smoking on that. That was the first thing I smoked on. Okay. And I wasn't putting out good food. But I was learning. I was figuring it out.
Yeah. You're probably starting to learn about smoke and heat and.
Yeah, but when I moved back from Austin after culinary school is when I bought the offset smoker, a Oklahoma Joe's Longhorn smoker, which I still have in my backyard.
Nice.
That's a great backyard smoker, and it was cheap. It was like $400, brand new.
Whoa. And
it's nice, thick metal. It's still there, almost 10 years later.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was great.
But were you working on brisket? Had you been cooking briskets on those? Or?
Yeah, so that was the first thing was brisket, and I made a couple good briskets. I kind of figured it out, and then started experimenting more. I'm like, let me get the biggest brisket I can find. If I'm going to stay up all night cooking a brisket, I might as well, cook the most brisket. And, I found out cooking 18, 20-pound briskets isn't the way to go.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So I kind of like took a step back actually, because I was playing around with rubs and stuff like that. And again, this is really before like this whole revival of barbecue.
Like the
this is like
Renaissance,
right when Aaron started serving barbecue. No one really knew about him. So I didn't have a whole lot to go on. I'm just kind of figuring it out on my own.
Kind of doing what you like, probably.
Yeah. And then I figured out more simple. Simple is better when it comes to the rub. And once I figured that out, I started out putting out some decent brisket.
And were you giving it away to friends or bringing it to parties or?
Yeah. Just eating it at home. Have friends come over. We all kind of still lived in the same neighborhood, so it was just convenient. You know, we'd throw parties at my mom's house and eat barbecue.
And you weren't married at the time, right?
No. I got married a year and a half ago.
Oh, a year and a half ago. Okay.
Yeah.
So then, when did you start doing some? Were you doing catering? I think is that what you were doing at the, or were you just, or did you start doing pop-ups like?
So I started pop-ups. About 6 years ago.
Okay.
And a little bit of catering too in the beginning, but so it was when I was working at Underbelly. Mm-hmm. I finally bit the bullet and bought a barbecue trailer.
Okay.
And so I started doing pop-ups at, there's a bar here in Houston that has a kitchen. Okay. And at the time they were just kind of rotating chefs through. You kind of just had a schedule, put your name on the schedule, come in and cook.
Oh, that's cool. That's nice.
Yeah, it was great. And it was like the industry bar, so it's where they got out of work, they went to this bar and hung out. So it was awesome.
Nice.
And so I think I was doing one Sunday a month.
Okay. For
the first couple of years, which was rough because I work service Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Get from Saturday and immediately start cooking, and then and serve until Sunday night.
Well, it shows that you care.
Yeah, right. I definitely had to earn it.
So when did you start popping up on people's radar? When did that? Do you think like something like JC or?
Yeah, pretty quickly. Eric Sandler, who was writing for Eater at the time, who writes for Culture Map now, kind of noticed like right away almost. Maybe like the third or fourth time I did that. I mean, working for Underbelly helped because I kind of had a higher profile.
True.
But yeah, pretty quickly, and then I didn't really start. It didn't really take off until probably a few years ago when I went to go work for Ronnie.
Okay.
And then that kind of put me in the barbecue spotlight, I guess.
And how was that working for Ronnie? And what did you learn? What did you take from that?
I learned how to run a barbecue restaurant. I mean, I already had my own style of barbecue. I was slowly getting better at it. And Ronnie had his own thing, and I was doing Ronnie's barbecue. But just learning how to run the restaurant, ordering what brands of meats are better than others, pricing, stuff like that. And so I kind of...
Like the business side of it.
The business side. Exactly.
Which is huge. And I actually have I don't know if you know, there's a guy named Neil Big Mista Estrada out here. He went for a couple days out to Ronnie. He contacted him and Ronnie said, yeah, come on out.
Yeah, I think that was right after I left.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I just missed them.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
okay. So that, because it just popped in my head when you said that. Okay. So that's great. So that's important because, and also on a larger capacity than what you're used to.
Oh yeah, definitely. If I ever cook as much barbecue as Ronnie, no one cooks more barbecue in Texas than Ronnie Killen.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, I haven't been.
It's impressive,
and it's really consistent too, right?
Yeah,
really good quality. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he starts with great quality. He's got those Oilers which help keep it consistent, and he's constantly playing around, trying to make it better. He's not content whatsoever. I think he just got in like a different brand of chicken yesterday.
Oh, really?
And smoked it for the restaurant because he likes that better than what he's been using.
Oh, so he's constantly evolving.
Oh, yeah. He will not sit still.
Progression was, did you go Underbelly then Ronnie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, Ronnie called me up. He was looking for help before he opened up. And, I asked Chris. Like, I loved Underbelly. That was probably the most fun I'll ever have in his career. It was a great time and doing cool stuff and stuff. But, I asked Chris, like, hey, Ronnie approached me. He he wants me to come over there and help. And Chris is like, you should do it. And which kind of surprised me. I thought he'd be like, no, don't, you can't leave. But first of all, no one's irreplaceable. So that's kind of a lesson I took away from that.
True.
But also he's like, well, you want to learn how to run a barbecue restaurant. You're not going to learn it working here. Go work at a barbecue restaurant. And so it made sense.
When did you leave Ronnie's place?
So when Ronnie and I talked, I told him, I was like, I want my own place. I'm sort of working on the business plan. I can promise you a year. Anything after that, it's just depending on what's going on. So yeah, I worked there for about a year.
Okay.
Some friends of mine were opening a restaurant, starting a restaurant group. And the plan was we were going to open a barbecue restaurant. We were going to open Southern Goods, which was my next job. And then we were going to springboard off of that and open a barbecue restaurant for me.
Okay.
So I left Killins for Southern Goods. That barbecue restaurant didn't happen.
Okay.
For various reasons.
Okay.
But I still got to cook barbecue at Southern Goods.
Oh, okay.
I got to cook my barbecue.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So it was still worth it. I think we did barbecue the first Saturday of every month. And then I got to smoke as much as they would let me for the regular menu.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So like the beef belly burn-ins with the grits and the braised greens, that like became like our signature dish day one. And it took off more than we thought it would.
Because it's listen to it, just the words themselves together.
Yeah,
spectacular.
Yeah, and I cut it so it was like a giant burn-in. It wasn't like a bunch of small little bites.
Yeah.
So I cut it. It was like a big 10-ounce burn-in. So like think of like a 10-ounce chunk of meat where it's just nice and crispy all the way around. So it plated better. It looked better than a pile of meat.
Chunks of.
Yeah.
Is that going to be on your menu coming up?
A variation of that.
Okay.
We'll do the beef belly burn-ins just because it's different and that kind of it's become a thing.
Yeah, it's a signature thing.
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly how it's gonna. I might just sell it as a meat option,
which is great.
We'll probably do braised greens on the menu. Grits will kind of be here and there. I don't think. We're going to do grits every day.
When did you know that you'd be opening the restaurant? Because I think I started hearing about you when you were still doing pop-ups.
Yeah, so I left Southern Goods at the end of June last summer.
Okay.
The September before that, my wife and I started looking for a restaurant.
Okay.
We had put together a business plan that was constantly evolving depending on the space. But we landed around June. We figured the space we're in now, Greenway Plaza, is more than likely going to happen. Or around May, I'm sorry. We figured out this is going to happen. We hadn't signed a lease yet, but there's no deal killers.
Okay.
I gave him a month notice. Like, at the end of June, I'm going to go and focus on me now, and Aaron and I, and our restaurant.
Yeah.
And so that's when I started doing the pop-ups. I think almost every weekend or every other weekend, kind of when I could find a home just to sell barbecue. And I had some friends, the Haulers from Hauler Brewing, who were gracious and were happy to have me out there.
Nice.
Whether it be Saturday or Sunday, and it was very symbiotic because I brought barbecue fans to their brewery and their beer fans to my barbecue. So it was very symbiotic.
It's a perfect relationship. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're good people and their beer is really good. And they're less than 2 years old. I mean, it's a brand new brewery.
I'll have to check them out when I come to Houston. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll put a link to them below too.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you have the space when you were doing the pop-ups every other weekend? Did you have the space already picked? Like you had it picked out, but did you actually have have money on it? Like was it a place that was solidified, or were you still just working on it?
We were working on it. We didn't sign the lease until I believe it was October, maybe November.
Okay.
When we actually signed the lease, and then they gutted. We gutted that kitchen. It was a previous. So it's in a.
What was it before?
It was a barbecue restaurant.
Okay.
So it's in a food court in an office building complex that has like 15,000 people in this complex right here. But there's also other buildings like maybe a block away or 2 blocks away.
Perfect.
So that whole area is a huge business area. So yeah, I have this built-in audience, and so this food court has kind of been almost like a springboard for some people, like Greenway Coffee, which is the most well-known coffee here in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Who he has restaurants, Morningstar, a blacksmith.
Oh yeah.
And he just opened one with Hunter Pence, Coral Sword, which is a gaming cafe.
Nice.
But he started in Greenway Plaza, hence the name Greenway Coffee. You got a couple other good restaurants that started out there and kind of started opening other ones. So nice. It made sense. They're trying to. It's a new ownership group that owns the building.
Okay.
So they're trying to bring in new restaurants and update it. And so that's why we gutted that place because that previous barbecue restaurant had been there for, I think, like 30 years.
Oh, wow.
And it hadn't been updated. So the space looks fantastic now. They did a really good job.
Oh, that's rad. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's, they started demo in December and we're wrapping up now.
That's so crazy. So is it, being a food court, is there just seating for the food court or is there seating for your restaurant itself? Like your portion? I'm trying to get it. I've seen some photos on Instagram, but I can't put my head around it right now.
Well, yeah, there's like seating for everybody. So think of like a mall food court.
Okay.
You have around the edges, you have all the restaurants and then just the seating in the middle. So it's kind of like that.
Okay. And you'll have the standard line, like a lineup, like a, okay.
Yeah.
And what are you going to be serving there?
The traditional stuff, brisket, ribs, sausage. We're going to make our own sausage.
I was going to ask you that.
Try and keep a couple sausages on rotation.
Nice.
We'll do specials. I think every Friday I've kind of made a name for myself down here a little bit, cooking like Carolina style whole hog.
Okay. Because
it's not a thing in Texas.
No.
But at this point I enjoy cooking pig more than I cook brisket.
Okay.
It's more hands-on, and just that smell as the pork fat's dripping on the coals is so good.
Oh, so ridiculous. Can you cook? Yeah. Can you cook whole hog in an oiler, or is that?
I'm gonna do probably 80 to 100 pound splits.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, split. Okay.
And I'll do just like a split a week on probably Friday is gonna be like a whole hog day. I can't do it every day. We're still in Texas. It's still beef country.
Maybe I should edit out the part where you say you like cooking hog more than a.
No, I tell.
No, I'm totally kidding. No, but also too, like my shirt right here, I love my first real taste of like true barbecue. I had someone sent me Arthur Bryant's one time because I live in California where barbecue is evolving, to say it mildly. But I went to a Lexington barbecue because I used to go out to North Carolina twice a year, and I'm like, it was an epiphany. I was like, wait, there's something special about this, and you can love both, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. We didn't invent barbecue. If you think about it, American barbecue is whole hog, really.
Yeah, that's not fair.
So it's just Texas did their own thing, and I appreciate good food is good food.
True.
Good barbecue is good barbecue. So it doesn't have to be from Texas, to be good barbecue.
Yeah.
There's good barbecue all over this country.
And to be that guy too, that's to be able to offer that. That's huge. That's important. People will make their way out to specifically have that for you from you. So that's awesome. I think that's really cool. Have you done a lot of whole hog?
I've done for the past couple of years. Yeah, I'm doing it as often as I can. I kind of got the bug when I went to Hemingway at Rodney Scott's place.
Yes.
And Rodney's been coming down here once a year to do Southern Smoke with Chris. Mm-hmm. So I help him out with that and drag my pig cooker up there.
Nice.
And I like I said, I do it as often as possible. The first time I did it was at the Houston Barbecue Festival.
Okay.
Which was not the smartest move. The first time I'm going to cook a whole pig. You ever done it? Nope. Like, all right. But people loved it. It was different. Everyone else, I think people are kind of tired of getting brisket.
Well, if you have it at a festival too, like 7 or 8.
Right. And everyone knows how to cook brisket. 5-6 years ago, a handful of people were cooking brisket really well. Now everyone else has figured it out. So it's not like as mind-blowing as it used to be, and you can see that people are starting to do different things now. Like beef ribs have taken off, obviously, and people are just putting pastrami's big now just because it's barbecue's evolving, and I want to be part of that.
Yeah, and the fact that you'll always have the traditional meats, but it's nice to keep evolving, and I think that's like you said, there's so many people that really know how to cook brisket well now. So it's like you kind of have to separate yourself.
Exactly. Exactly.
And people can come and have brisket. They can have brisket.
Exactly. I'll still have brisket, you know. I'll never get rid of brisket.
You're just going to cut off all the fat so it's super lean and no junkie.
That's yours, not mine.
That's so funny. No, I'm just thinking it's hilarious that people, like I've talked to people in the old days, like it was, for the longest time, there was like people just wanted lean brisket because it was kind of during this kind of shift that people started realizing how much fat.
You know, working the butcher's block at Killens, you learn to read people, and you can almost guess what they're going to order before they order.
Oh, that's funny.
And the older people, like 9 times out of 10, wanted that fat scraped off because, you know, that's what they've eaten their whole life.
Yeah, so weird.
You know? Yeah.
But also, like I remember as a child, like I would rather have the fat on a steak than the actual steak itself at times.
Right? So. That's where all the flavor is.
It is. Yeah. But also, like my little brother he'd want his meat butterflied and seared to well done because I thought he was an alien or something.
Yeah.
So the friends and family is next week. When does the restaurant open?
I'm hoping the following Monday.
Wow.
We're about a week behind, so we're trying to rush it. Like I said, today's gonna be the first day I fire up this smoker.
Nice.
We're doing a photo shoot this weekend. That'll be the first long cook I do on it.
Nice.
So if the food comes out great in the next week and a half, then we'll open. If I need to tweak it, then we're gonna have to, you know, hold off and figure out. I don't want to open up winging it.
No,
you know, I want to be able to put out consistently good stuff from day one.
Nice. Well, that's exciting.
We'll see how that goes.
So are you excited? Is it sort of?
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm nervous. Like I have this paralyzing fear that I'm forgetting something major. That like, you know, day one's gonna be like, oh man. Like I have a friend who has a bakery here in town, and day one she realized she forgot register paper. So she keeps be sure you buy register paper.
That's funny. That's like.
But that's my fears. I'm going to forget something like, you know, the night before. I'm like, oh, we forgot to order pepper, you know? So I'm sure that won't happen.
It won't happen.
I'm checking every list, you know, double checking it, making sure, you know, we got everything down.
Yeah. And keep lists. Like I'm not the best at keeping lists, but they totally do help. They definitely help.
Yeah. Oh, my wife's on top of that. She's way more organized than I am. I tell people, we don't get this place open without her.
Quickly, what was her background? I know she worked at Per Se.
So she went to culinary school in San Francisco. She worked at Per Se for about a year after school, and then she went and worked at Babo for a year.
That's a great experience.
Yeah, it's
those two together, like that would be enough for a resume. You could just like leave and never do it again.
Right, exactly. She's definitely a better chef than I am, and I tell everyone that she won Chopped 2 years ago.
Oh yeah. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah,
that's a huge accomplishment. What a cool experience, too. I'd love to talk to her someday. Well, maybe when I come visit, I'll talk to her about that.
Yeah, absolutely. They kept trying to get me on there, too, because they wanted, you know, kind of like the husband and wife to kind of compete against each other. I don't need you guys to tell me who the better chef is. You know? And she was like, well, you know, 50-50 chance at $10,000, you should definitely do it. I'm like, why? You're going to beat me anyways, so there's no point.
Yeah, all that pressure for knowing they're going to lose anyways. That's not fun. Wow, that's really cool. That's... To be on it is really cool, but to win it, that's through all those through the 3 rounds. Well, that's crazy. That's really cool.
Yeah. So what I tell people ask me like, what are you going to do different? You know, what's going to be different than other barbecue restaurants? And I tell it, well, I have her.
Yeah.
She's we don't want to say we're splitting duties. I'm doing the meat and she's doing the sides, but I'm focusing on meats and I'm taking her input, and she's focusing on the sides and taking my input.
Gotcha.
So these traditional barbecue sides, she's updating them. Like our coleslaw is going to be yogurt-based coleslaw instead of mayonnaise.
Nice.
And it's got some Indian spices in it. And so it's nice and creamy like mayonnaise, but it's healthier. Her thing is, you know, I drag her to barbecue restaurants and she always gets a baked potato and wishes she could be eating a salad. So we're gonna serve a couple salads as well. You know, you can put smoked meat on there if you want.
Which is cool for the clientele that you'll have. That's really awesome. Yeah. That's a smart idea.
I can't ask these guys to eat a beef rib and then go sit at their desk for another 3 hours.
Take a nap at their desk.
Yeah, exactly. But we're gonna roast, do roasted seasonal vegetables. We're working with the farm, about 45 minutes south of Houston, actually right down the street from where I grew up.
Awesome.
So we're just trying to we want the sides to be as good as the barbecue is,
which is super important. I think it's it's ideal, and that's kind of like what sets people apart too, because a lot of times you can tell when people are kind of phoning in with their sides, and you're like, really, it's a full meal.
Yeah, we actually have a plate where you can get just sides.
That's nice.
You kind of pick three. It's like pick 3 sides for like $9, I think.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Oh God, I'm so excited for you. That's going to be really great. What are you going to be open 7 days a week then?
No, 5 days. It's an office building complex.
Oh,
so
that's true.
we'll be for brunch. We're going to be open 7 to 5. Okay. We're going to try and do we'll do breakfast, we'll do lunch, and then call us and we'll put together some food if you want to take it home.
Gotcha. On
your way home. If that doesn't take off, we'll kick it back to 3, like normal times.
Yeah.
But yeah, Monday through Friday.
Wow.
And so we'll have the weekends off to do catering or pop up somewhere.
Nice.
Or just sleep in.
Nice. That's awesome. That's yeah. Rest up for the busy week. That's awesome. Well, thank you. I'm so excited for you. I'm really good luck. Good luck today on your first smoke.
Thank you.
And thank you for taking the time. And I'm going to be coming out soon. I'm putting together these barbecue city guides where I talk to people. Like I talked to Chris Reed, and he actually mentions you at the end, because he talks about the historical barbecue joints that people should visit. Then he also the ones that are like the Texas Monthly top 50 ones that are in Houston, and then he also kind of at the end kind of ones that are on the radar that are coming up, because your place isn't open yet. But he mentioned that once it does open, it's a place to visit. But I can't wait to visit, and I'm super stoked for you. And I'll reach out. Maybe we'll do like in 6 months or something, do a recap one to kind of how things have been going, what you've learned, kind of to give people too who are interested in opening a barbecue restaurant some insight into what it's like, because I think that's I just want to I want to document the barbecue industry as well as kind of celebrate it, and I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, let me know when you come down here.
I will, for sure.
If you're here on a weekend, I can take you around because I won't be working.
Awesome, that'd be fun too. That'd be super cool. Awesome. Well, have a great day, and
thanks.
I look forward to meeting you and your wife when I come out there.
Likewise.
All right, you take care.
All right, have a good one.
Thank you.